Well, it's known as Billionaire's Row, a new development of high-rise luxury apartments in New York being snapped up by the super rich. But it turns out the wealthy owners are paying just a fraction of the taxes which do face the poor. And it's leading to an affordable housing crisis in the city, as Maupin now explains.
Just south of Central Park in Manhattan are 7 skyscraper buildings that are referred to as Billionaire's Row. These are homes only affordable to the ultra-rich. While Billionaire's Row is certainly driving up rent and housing costs for average citizens, one thing it is not doing is increasing tax revenue. New York City's property taxes are based on assessed value, not the sales price. Residents of 157, the luxury apartment building that's part of Billionaire's Row, also get a tax break because the company owns some affordable housing far away in the Bronx. It's a pretty convenient loophole that allows the billionaire residents to have some of their tax burden eased. I've looked into the controversy with former New York City Council candidate and lawyer Marnie Halassa.
There's a huge tax discrepancy, and a lot of activists have been calling to end the 421A tax subsidy because the city loses so much money. And in 2021, $1.7 billion of money that the city could have gotten for city services, we don't have. So that's a real problem. And it creates tremendous amount of income inequality. And that's where you see, again, like the story is that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
432 Park Avenue boasts of being the tallest residential building in the Western world. It's 85 stories with a nice view of Central Park. Or take the building known as 157. It consists of 92 housing units above the Hyatt Hotel. The very existence of these buildings drives up housing and rent costs for average citizens. Non-billionaire residents of New York City have often been complaining about the high costs of rent, which hasn't decreased very much despite the worsening conditions in the city.
Shelves are bare. Cost of gas is too high.
I'm searching for apartments right now, and I'm looking for a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I can't find anything really, in my opinion, that's livable for me for less than $14,000.
Well, it's a problem with the system, not these millionaires. So the system have to be shifted.
If you're owning a $100 million apartment, you should pay the taxes for what the apartment is worth.
They're taking advantage of all the assets of the New York City, but they're not paying for it.
The financial strain of accommodating billionaire housing goes even further. Since the pandemic, New York City has lost much of its appeal. The ultra-rich are going elsewhere. Central Park Tower has 89% of its apartments vacant, according to the New York Post. In all 7 of the buildings dubbed Billionaire's Row, you've got half of those luxury housing units sitting empty. So, in such a situation, shouldn't the housing costs and rent go down? Well, they aren't. Amid rising crime and inflation, New York City's housing costs are still sky high. Working families are struggling, and many look on and say the game is rigged. Maupin, RT, New York.